Welcome to another Petersburg By Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles here on Petersburg By Night. I'm Devlin Kaner, humble storyteller, and here is the full coterie. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Truck EXC, and I play Drake Monahan, the brash, bold Bahari Bruja.
Hi, I'm Kendall, Kendall the Elemental on TikTok. I play Maggie Haywood of the Kava.
Hello, I'm Lakar, and I am playing the usually better-dressed ne'er-do-well Matthew Holden, the Toreador.
Hey, I'm Mew, and I'll be playing Sophie Clues, the Malted Milkshake Malkavian.
All right, now that the gang is coming back together, let's do a recap. Last time we saw them, they had broken off into two groups. One to go to the gala, one to go to the trial of Duncan. One went a little bit more efficiently than the other. After an incident at the gala and an abduction, Matt and Drake find themselves peeling away from the site, looking for a place to dump the body, bringing us to Sophie and Maggie, who just walked away from the execution of Duncan. After making contact with one another, they have decided to head to New Haven that Maggie had picked up. So we are going to move there. As you make your way, Maggie and Sophie arrive first to the mortuary. You get to the building. It is pretty empty at the moment. You already texted your ghoul ahead of time to get everything prepared, immediately welcoming you into the space. It's not long before you hear the tires peeling into the parking lot. You hear the truck stop outside. The doors slam. As the two of you make your way into the building, past the reception, into the larger mortuary, you are carrying a bloodied Victor Adams. You can hear sirens in the distance, but they don't seem to be getting too close at the moment. The scene is yours.
Drake settles Victor over his shoulder, making sure not to jostle the stake too much. Just got the shit. As he comes in with Matt. Well, we got plenty of questions to be asking him, but he's gonna have to regrow his tongue back first.
That shouldn't be too difficult. Why do you have him? Where's Gray?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, this one here was about to diabolize the man. But, let's just say I interrupted their little ritual.
Wasn't your one job to get Gray out?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
that was not going to happen.
And to be fair, this one was more my job.
You followed?
It was more a side quest, but
Maggie will walk a little further in and pull out one of the drawers. Make a gesture. You can lay him down on that. Is he in
And he just-
torpor?
Yep, stake's good and in. Hasn't budged. Doesn't seem to be reacting to much. And
How
he'll just
exactly? Sorry.
he'll just flop him unceremoniously on the spot.
How exactly did you want to talk to him? I don't really have a space for interrogation.
I'll think of something. More I need to make sure there's what his part in this ritual was and what his main goal was. I think it was just gaining power, but with the Baha'i, it could always be something a bit more sinister. But they definitely wanted him to do the ritual, as blasphemous as the fucking thing was.
I do have my rifle if you want to intimidate him, or I can position it near his head while you talk to him in an intimidating manner.
Oh, you sweet thing. Don't worry. When it comes to torture, I got it down. Thank you, though.
Well, I don't think we should resort to torture necessarily. I mean, that is what keeps us apart from Victor.
yeah, but and I'm sure Victor would enjoy it. Let's be real.
And torture
there's that-
doesn't actually get answers out of people. It just makes them desperate enough to lie and to be able to cover it up easier. Perhaps
I'm not
someone
gonna-
with a more persuasive tongue could
Yeah.
make him slip up.
I mean, I did just ruin his massive project, but trust me, that alone's gonna be torturing him. Never get involved with the Baha'i and the project, much less get in the way of it.
So, do we have any idea what state Gray may be in?
Yeah, probably did.
Like this.
I mean, if he ain't dead, he's in some sort of rapture.
Yeah, he I've seen the end results. I'm pretty sure it would have been more problems than it was worth trying to get him out of there.
Were you followed?
Were we followed?
Give me what's awareness.
I assume we'd both have been like checking for that. Wait, do I take a penalty for not having willpower?
This is a mental test, so yes.
That's -2, right?
Yep.
That's what I can get.
Okay.
Because I also had to take that.
You're pretty sure nobody followed you. They weren't in cars and no one came after you immediately. You're pretty sure you lost them pretty quick.
Drake, did you assume that Matthew was watching for followers? And Matthew, did you assume that Drake was watching for followers? And in fact, neither of you actually know?
Drake actually looks at Sophie, and that cocky smile of his, like, it becomes very clear how brittle it actually is. For just a moment. No, I'm making sure we weren't followed. We got away at a cost. You know what? I think I'm going to go clean up for a moment. Miss Haywood? Is there a place I could
Bathroom.
something?
Go down that hallway to the right.
Thank you kindly. And he is going to walk away.
And Matt's smug demeanor kind of deflates a little too. Yeah, it did not go nearly as well as it could have. But it could have been
What
worse.
did you see?
Well, he twisted Gray. The man seemed way too happy to be in those photos. And that group of his is something special. But on the plus side, they know how you feel from the other one. My friends were there to cater.
Ah, I see. I gather neither of you drank anything while you were there.
No, I knew better after I realized what was going on. But this brilliant little angel, and he'll kind of look over to Victor, ate right out of my hand.
I see. Maggie will go over to Victor's body, kind of carefully look it over, and then look up at Matt. Where do you want him?
Part of me wants to say in a jar next to Mina, but that'd be too good of a solution for him.
Also, I will point out, we were just accused of dismantling a kindred in society, and now we've kidnapped one, and you're suggesting might possibly kill them as well. And Duncan had to perish for our stupidity in the way that we handled Edwin's perishing.
I'm not suggesting that we kill him.
No, you weren't, but Matthew seems to have his eye on doing something with Victor, and I just want to point out that we have kidnapped a kindred, which is not necessarily seen very highly.
No, we couldn't get answers from him and then turn him over as a Diabolist.
Yeah, I said I would like to, Sophie. I didn't say I was going to. And I'm sorry. I take it didn't go well for you guys either.
It was complicated.
Well, it was all very unjust, as Edwin may still be alive.
You want to run that back?
It's difficult to explain when when Charlie was in my brain, recounting that memory where Edwin's bodily features were in turn destroyed, and then his skin was taken off, particularly of his face. His face skin looked odd, and therefore I think he might not actually be dead.
So someone may or may not have been wearing an Edwin suit?
Or perhaps somehow our memories were tampered with. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it all just seems odd. And the way that his body was gooey,
Faxed to the great beyond?
it wasn't completely ash, so Maggie was concerned that maybe it wasn't Edwin, as Edwin said that he was very old, and it's much more difficult to lie about your age when you've been in society for a long time.
I mean, that's fair. I was eventually going to have to become a Banksy and just...
Are you referring to, is that an explosive device?
Banksy is a street artist who kind of just appears out of nowhere, makes something, and then pisses off. So you see their work, you just never see them.
Yes, well, I wish your hunter friend would do that and just disappear.
Don't worry. I have a plan.
I'm sure. But for
Probably just-
now, I would suggest we figure out what to do with Victor.
Would you say, Devlin, that Greg would have been able to at least clean up by that point?
Yeah, sure.
Walk back in.
We ain't getting answers out of him anytime soon, though.
He can't
think-
heal unless we unstake him.
The longer we have him here, the more likely someone will find his trail as well, or find this place.
I have claimed this place as my haven. I have allowed quite a few different guests, including yourselves, stay within my walls and in my boxes. It wouldn't be unusual for him to be here. And from what I understand, he tends to be flighty. However, I would rather not have more of your religious friends coming by
Yeah,
with our known association.
especially Drake's new girlfriend. That I feel like there's a bombshell waiting to happen on that one.
So in the time frame that you were supposed to be saving Gray, you were
No,
canoodling
Miss
up with
Clues.
someone?
He's using a euphemism.
He's being facetious, Sophie.
That word.
Who?
The shear for the cult. Basically, coming after me. Honestly, I'd like to be at full strength next time I see her because she's dangerous. But look, I have my own goals. My main goal was to disrupt whatever that ritual was going to create. And if you need me to find my own place for him, so be it.
If you're going to keep him somewhere confined for your questions, I am simply suggesting that this place may not be the best. But yeah, I can keep him here for the next couple of days. But he will not heal.
Yeah, that is something I need to solve.
I suggest, if you have a cell, use it.
I might be able to acquire one. But I'll have to see.
She will kind of start looking over his body. Because she's going to start what are the state of his clothes?
Oh,
Looks like he's
shut
wearing
the
like this.
hell. Go ahead.
Okay. He's wearing these robes that have blood all over them, but you can tell he's wearing something underneath.
Okay. She's going to start taking off the robes so she can see what's underneath.
He's wearing all black, a bit of leather. He's got a shirt buttoned down most of his chest, and he's wearing a necklace that looks a little familiar too, but you're not sure from where.
Okay. She's going to activate Sense the Unseen as she looks over the necklace.
You sense the unseen. You begin kind of looking over the necklace. The necklace itself doesn't seem to have anything attached to it, but Victor seems to have a weird little aura about them. Please give me an intelligence and occult.
Gotcha. That is 4 successes.
You remember a conversation that you've had months ago where you and Gray were having a conversation about death and his kind of spiritual beliefs. And you remember him occasionally fidgeting with that necklace.
She's going to pull out her phone and take a couple of pictures of the necklace. Just for her to look up later. And she's going to activate Binding Fetter.
Let me double check that one again real quick. 1 second. There is no fetter.
Okay. You can deactivate it. Should close the robe. Tuck his hands over across his chest and slide the door shut. I heard sirens going in the direction of Clearwater. How big of a hubbub was this exactly?
Well, I'm pretty sure almost every single kindred there was armed to the teeth. Felt like it.
At this point, you notice that at least Drake is riddled with bullet holes.
Were your faces seen?
Well, I mean, I was known the moment I stepped foot in there. But leaving the area, not that I could tell.
And at least one of the people I interacted with, he's not going to be a problem. I mean, when he lands. Most of them, at least.
I gotta be honest with you, Matt. Whatever you did to cause that boom probably saved my hide.
Well, I did tell them that I wouldn't touch anything. I didn't say I wouldn't make one of them do it. And it was a really good idea that I did that, too. I was going to be a dick and take it. I guess he was prepared for me this time.
Speaking of Louis and explosions, Camarilla are a bit concerned with the one that happened at Duncan's estate. Duncan graciously took the fall for most of it, but they seem to be still a bit suspicious of our activities.
So, another Sunday night. Got it.
Is there anything else?
Nope. Staked angel, painted blood. That seems about it.
Staked angel, potential for both of you to have been exposed on your way out. You two will need to lay low for a while. I've been stretching my contacts and the like very thin, covering up recent messes.
Yeah.
Can't keep doing this.
I like it. Drake seemed like he was going to say something. He just stopped and just looked away absently. Like, unsure of what to say.
Did you at least get any evidence that we could potentially show the sheriff and to show that Victor has been potentially breaking the Masquerade?
I was working on that, and what would you say? The shear
Yeah.
destroyed my phone.
I'm pretty sure Victor's going to have to be the evidence himself.
Is your phone connected to data? Like, or is it on 5G?
Not really sure at the time. I was more concerned with just taking a video.
What I'm asking is, if your phone was on data, It may have been logged to another source outside of your phone. Networks work a little differently that way. I'm guessing you don't really know how the cloud works.
Not my thing now.
Well, I can... If your phone was logged on to a Google account, then I could probably see if it saved a fraction of what you took.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
What is it you're trying to accomplish?
She is, once she's able to like get to his computer and get onto his account, she's going to see if any of that video got saved to his, basically his Google account.
I see.
Because he has no idea if he's logged on to Google onto his phone, and it tends to sync a lot of various like photos, videos, that kind of deal.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
And he doesn't know if he's logged on to Google either, so it'll be a mystery for both of them.
Give me intelligence and tech.
Okay. Five successes.
He was signed into Google. And there is an interrupted video. It is a little hard to tell what was on it. It looks like he had the pointed up at a display where you get a brief glimpse of Gray and Victor, but then immediately the phone gets swiped. You see it fall to the ground, and then the video feed cuts off.
I am not the biggest expert on this. I do know my way around these kind of things, mostly for programming purposes. But if you know anyone that's able to run this through a program to make it more clear, clarify it, maybe slow it down, it might give you something a little bit more workable.
I mean, I knew a guy, but he's definitely not going to be able for any use. Not unless you need to salt your path. And I'm not sure how risky it would be to try to contact my guy. Not that I could right now.
Within our societies. Unless you're a very good liar.
Speaking of being a good liar, I'm gonna need a new face.
Like a mask, or are you talking about?
Yes. Since Louis took everything, I'm gonna need to work on a new one here soon.
Well, good luck. It sounds expensive.
I'm rich.
I figured. I'm sure you will find a new mask. I'm sorry he burned all of your other ones.
Hey, look at it this way. I get to do what you told me.
You're actually going to do it.
No time like the present. What else do I got to lose? They took everything else.
Which part of what I told you are you doing?
Mourn.
Good.
What is your plan with Louis?
At this point, figure out how he's doing what he's doing and somehow get him to stop. Because I don't know how far he's got that stretched, and if it's just his friends that are doing it or he did this to other people. I got nothing. It could just be him and his group that are tainting everything. He could have tainted the supply elsewhere. I don't know how far this goes. So it's...
What do you mean tainted supply? I thought he was simply drugging people in a enclosed area.
Yeah. Somehow they're doing something with their blood that is screwing with us. And that's twice.
Well, I will say I could have used it if it was a bit more fast acting. Didn't seem to hinder the shear much.
Do you have a sample of this blood?
Well, I mean...
Greg points at Victor.
Victor drank.
Maggie's going to pull the drawer back open and she's going to basically pull out one of the large syringes that they use to inject basically formaldehyde into people. She's going to stick it into him and pull out some of his blood.
I will say he does not have a lot of blood left.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Actually, okay, Drake. Please give me a stamina and composure. Or resolve. Stamina and resolve.
Penalty on this one, or am I good?
This would have been before your penalty.
Okay. I'll take it. That's 6 with a crit.
Okay. You managed to not be affected.
Are those?
How is Carmen, by the way? Is she having any long-term effects from that night? From that drink?
I haven't talked to her because, one, I wanted to keep some distance because I've already annoyed her twice with this bullshit.
You may want to, maybe not in person, but send like a gift basket or something. You did take her to a party where she got roofied, essentially.
Yeah, not my proudest outing with my cousin for the first time.
So something of an apology is in order.
I'll send her a hot guy with a bow wrapped around him.
Drake looks like he's about to make a quip and then just shuts his mouth.
Why is this chunk on his neck missing?
I had to play up a bit of a desperate angle. They went on him so bad for the ritual. Why not perform the ritual on him? Or at least make him think that.
Matt will look at Drake. You drank from Victor?
Well, you told me the blood was tainted. I didn't see anything being tainted or any. And I was kind of up against it in the moment.
Roll up a sleeve, buddy.
I would like to take some of your blood.
Go for it.
Maggie's going to take some of Drake's blood rather than Victor's blood.
Okay. Turned out she was a Tremere the whole time. So.
At least one of us would have been a Tremere.
So. At this point, you take the blood. Maggie received a message.
She'll check it.
It's from your sire. Need to speak. Meet at Beaumont's.
How soon?
At your leisure.
She'll send back a thumbs up. I'm gonna have this tested. She kind of puts the blood into a vial and puts it into a storage container. She'll kind of fiddle with her phone for a bit before tucking it back into her pocket. Is there anything else?
Not particularly. Just gotta figure out how to get a brief second of video to someone who can clean it up and make it look good.
Well, if worse comes to worse, we can break it down by putting it through a computer and having it do it through a screen capture program and just show people a slideshow of all of these screen captures from the small video. But I can't imagine that would make the best evidence.
And we got this one that once we get him somewhat more together than he is, get someone to make him talk.
Oh, do be careful. Usual Rose trickery with his words.
I will say that people tend to be a little easier to give answers if their will is broken.
Oh, that's not no.
Not physically.
No, Miss Haywood, give me some credit. I may be a brute, but I was a Bahar.
I need you to understand, Drake. You keep saying that, but it doesn't mean it. And she will look at Sophie. And her... If it comes down to it, would you be willing to assist with this, Sophie?
Oh, well, yes, of course. I apologize, I'm a bit distracted thinking about video footage with Edwin. And how I it's awfully convenient that he perished in one of the few rooms without security. Video footage. I was just thinking of it. I was thinking of perhaps security would have the last time Edwin was actually on footage. It was
There's
just
a,
that was bothering me.
it is likely that the only security footage that I've seen of him would likely be in the hallway. He wasn't fond of modern technology. Anyway, I have to go meet with the family. If you don't mind.
Yes, I hope you have a wonderful time. I'm still up for taking your sire downtown at some point when we don't have the issue of harboring a potential murderer.
I will bring it up with him when I see him.
Oh. I suppose there's nothing else. You know, stay safe out there. Have some healing to do.
Maggie will put the key into the lock that is on the more drawer that Victor's in. Quickly turn it. Pull on the knob to make sure that it doesn't open again. He should be fine here. For now.
I'll try to find someplace else.
Make sure it's sturdy.
Of course.
If the three of you don't mind.
Before I go, Maggie, I was hoping, do you still have the remnants of that dagger from Duncan? I was hoping to maybe take the handle of it.
I do. It is at my other haven.
Right. Well, I'll get that at.
Of course. I will make sure to have it ready for you when we do that exchange.
Thank you.
Matthew.
Yeah.
If you would like company in this morning. My door's open. If this is private, I understand.
Now, yeah, because me being left to my own devices never ends well. And I'm running out of people who will call me on my bullshit.
I thought you were collecting more of them.
That's my point. I have a few, but
I understand. But I do need to get going.
yes.
And make sure you take discreet ways back to wherever it is you are headed.
So don't go with Drake. Got it.
Oh no. I would say Drake is likely someone that would be able to avoid the people that you're trying to avoid because he is the most familiar with them.
He's also the one that doesn't know the meaning of the word discreet.
Well, I have a stop I need to make anyway. So.
Maggie will start
Before-
ushering them out for Haven.
You leave the mortuary. And split up to handle the various tasks you feel tend to. And we will explore that a bit more when we come back from the break. Thank you for tagging along so far. We will see you when we come back. Welcome back. After we left off, the Coterie had gone separate ways. Over the span of a week, they will be tending to a few personal affairs. First, we will start with Sophie Clues. Sophie, where are we this evening?
Sophie has collected the letter that Duncan left her with the coordinates to the haven that he requested she visit after his untimely passing.
You travel out. You following the coordinates, it doesn't take you anywhere near the building where the event was at. You're still very much traveling within Camarilla territory. Finally, you make yourself pretty close to the border between Camarilla and Neutral Zone, but you are still within the city limits. You find yourself in a park. Doesn't look like it gets a whole lot of traffic. Go ahead and give me intelligence and survival.
One success.
Okay. Trying to follow the coordinates in the space, it gets a little confusing. Duncan didn't leave the clearest instructions. But as you navigate for about 30 minutes, an hour and a half passes before finally you find a spot that kind of seems to resemble the very poorly written description you were given. You find yourself standing between a couple of trees, far away from most of the public spaces within this park. But you don't see anything here. You look around. There's no buildings, no structures. As you continue kind of stepping around, you hear the heel of your shoe kind of tap against something metallic.
Sophie will look down at the scraping of her shoe.
It seems that as you're looking down, you see that the grass is artificial. And where your shoe was, there seems to be a bit of some of it has been worn away. And you see something shimmer inside that grass.
Sophie will take a small scarf out of her purse and lay it down to kneel on it so that she can feel that artificial grass and feel how large perhaps the covering is.
Yeah. As you are examining, looks like the covering is probably 5 by 5 feet. Looks like he might have put some leaves over it to cover it up a little. Make it blend in with the rest of the surrounding grass as much as he could.
Sophie's going to start trying to feel around the edges for any sort of indent where there might be a place to lift it.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough.
Oh, I find one.
Oh yeah, not difficult. This isn't the most hidden thing. He kind of was mostly relying on the seclusion of it. You pull the grass to the side and find a vault door.
Is there a lock or is there just an indentation to lift?
There is an indentation, but next to it there appears to be a little box that kind of lights up when the motion of moving the grass triggers it. And there are what appears to be a couple of selections. They seem to be songs. One moment. It is a keypad with like a few options. A button by each one, and a title. The Walrus and the Caterpillar, Through the Looking Glass, and White Rabbit.
Sophie will pick White Rabbit.
You push White Rabbit. Immediately, the door unlocks. It pops open just a little bit, and you can hear the song White Rabbit playing from inside the bunker.
So it wasn't a physical key, it was friendship, you fool. Sophie will lift up the door.
You open the door. It goes down a few steps before kind of going into a hallway that opens up into a wider area. It looks like it's got like a little personal power generator put off in like a main space with some dim lights illuminating the rooms. There's the place that is his bedroom, which does look very similar to the bedroom he spent all those years in. You see, he looks like he has mostly recreated the space. Even to the point where there looks like a little kennel with some like plushy rabbits kind of propped inside.
Well, Duncan, you had a very odd way of dealing with everything that happened, but that's okay. I guess you were quite busy the time that we've been out. So people keep looking around. This is fairly impressive that he's been able to create this, especially with a modern generator.
It isn't very large. It's not the same size, not quite as well built as the one you had. This is basically like a little underground space. It's not nearly as deep. It's not nearly as secure. The material isn't as nice. It's just the structure, basically. And then he redesigned the rooms. You go over to his bedroom. You see there's... Well, yeah. As you step into the room, there's his bed. Kind of off to the side, you see that there is a little bookcase with a couple of journals that seem to be kind of placed in it. You see one is opened and set on his bedside table, kind of pages down. Next to the journal a couple of books that you've given him over the time that you guys have known each other. You also see little mementos. A necklace that he told you Christoph gave him early on when you knew each other. Little reminders of a time before Christoph went mad. You find a family portrait, the same one that you found in the house. Yeah. That is more or less what you find in this room.
Sophie is going to look under his bed for any small spaces, or look in the framing for any hidden things.
As you are looking around the bed, give me a intelligence, and I'll do what's in awareness.
Three successes.
You notice that the bed, it doesn't have legs. It goes directly into the ground. As you're looking around, you notice right along the bed, there is a kind of false surface. It's a plate, and when you push it down, the bed lifts just a little bit. Not completely providing an opening, but you see that it does prop just a little bit. You give it a little bit of a nudge, and you find the space that Duncan actually sleeps. Inside there are a couple of things.
Sophie's especially looking for any indecent photographs he may have been hiding down there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't find any indecent photographs in the bed. You find a copy of The Three Musketeers and a larger kind of rabbit sitting at the head. You see that there is a piece of paper kind of tucked into like this little ribbon tied into a bow around his neck.
Sophie will take the piece of paper out of the ribbon, and she will turn the book upside down, holding the covers, to rifle through the pages to make sure there aren't any photographs that have been tucked into the book.
Fair enough. No photographs are in the book. You take the paper. The only thing written on it is, "This one's yours. Thank you for everything."
Sophie will take the plushie and put it into her purse.
Do you investigate anything else in this room?
She would probably feel the plushie actually to see if there's perhaps anything hidden within it, or if it's just soft throughout.
It is soft, but you do find there is something solid.
Huh. Well, I suppose I could sew it back up later if there's something in there, or it might be rice. She'll try to rip open a piece of the back stitching and see if she can get her fingers in there to try to scoop out whatever it is that's solid.
It is wooden.
Oh,
as
it's a
far as you can
wooden.
tell. Like as you're feeling around,
Oh, the
there's
thing inside. So, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, she'll try to scoop it out if she can.
It a little bit more of a tear, but not too bad. You take the frame out. And it is a picture of you and Duncan on one of the more pleasant evenings that you had in the bunker. There, under at the bottom of the picture, you see his little signature in the corner. And then the generator cuts off. There's a little bit of light coming down from outside, giving a little bit of illumination, but not much.
Well, that's pretty timely. Probably didn't get a chance to do an oil change while you were incarcerated. I suppose I can always come back. Sorry, and she'll touch the necklace with the ashes. I'm sorry I haven't found any of the naughty things that you may have wanted burned up. But I suppose no one's really going to find this down here. I'm sure it's fine. So she will take the rabbit with the picture and put it into her purse and kind of crawl out from underneath where the bed was, and she'll try to hit the button again to have it set back down.
When you pull the door closed, you hear the latch take hold. You look down at this crude replica of the place that was a personal hell for you for so long. Duncan wanted you to see this for some reason. Wanted you to know this was here. What is on Sophie's mind as you take in this scene before leaving?
Sophie is thinking about how, for her, it wasn't a choice, so it was always going to be an awful place but he had helped make that place with Kristoff, and it was supposed to be a safe haven. It was supposed to protect them from what Kristoff was seeing in their future. So for him, it was a haven. And he was always going to think of it in a much better place than Sophie ever would. And Sophie thinks about the times she knew of Kristoff and Duncan before she left for Chicago, when they were at her family's large soirees, and how happy they were together before going down there.
As you go to step away from this place, your phone pings.
Sophie will grab it out of her purse as quickly as she can, because she knows that the notification will go away soon and she doesn't really know how to get it to come back up again. So she'll take a quick look at it.
You don't recognize the number, but the opening of the message says something to the effect of, "Whenever you'd like to meet, here's our address."
Sophie will grab the little rabbit plushie and kind of cradle it and pet the top of the head in a soothing motion, and then leave this safe haven for Duncan.
You walk away, deep in thought over what it is you found. With a little mixture of curiosity and resentment about things that may come ahead. And then we will... I forgot who's going next. I do believe Matt. Thank you. Sorry about that. Matt, where are you this evening?
Matt is making his way to Nightbloom Studios. He's going to grab some stuff out of there and then just kind of lock it down before he leaves. As he approaches, he's going to, as he gets to the door, he makes his way to the door, he's going to activate heightened senses and silence just to be safe.
This is on the approach to the studio?
Yeah.
Okay. You make your way upstairs. You don't bump into anybody. Nobody spots you that you can see. You get to the door, unscathed.
He's gonna make his way inside and go over to the one painting that he has things hidden behind to grab stuff out of there.
When you
Old.
step inside, you don't. Give me what's on awareness.
One.
Something seems off. Which painting do you hide things behind?
It is the painting he did of his sire, Elena.
As you're looking around, something is out of place. You're not quite sure what it is. But something is not right in your studio.
Great. Not very mindful there, Maddie. He will carefully look around to see if he can figure it out, because he knows there's something off. He just doesn't know what it is.
Now that you have your attention more dedicated to that, you're looking about checking the things that are valuable, the things that are important, and then it dawns on you. Only a few people know where I'm at. Who would be dumb enough? And what would they be dumb enough to take? And then there's a sense of dread that hits your stomach all of a sudden. You go to check on the painting of Mina. And it is not there.
Damn it, Louis. You're just not going to give up until I'm gone, aren't you? Or you are. Fine. Fine, if that's what you want. One last chase. And then he's going to go to the spot where he has stuff hidden and see if anything's missing from there. He had pictures and old memorabilia from his past.
Everything's still there. It's just the painting of Mina.
he's going to pull out an old photo of him, Mina, and Louis. If only things had been different. I guess you can't save them all, right? And he will go into the kitchen area and grab a metal bowl that is not used for anything, really, and a box of matches that are in one of the drawers. And he's going to light the picture on fire and drop it in the bowl.
Picture burns.
I guess.
You what? Go ahead.
I guess if I'm gonna do this, Maggie, I'm gonna start with this one. I can't keep living in the past if I'm trying to run from it. Can't escape until I actually try to escape. And he'll just watch it burn.
As you finish your thought, the final glimpse of the photo burns to ash.
That was almost cathartic. Next is you. And since you took all of my faces, I say we do it in one fell swoop. And he will make his way back out.
You make your way back out, heading toward the exit. What's on Matt's mind? Where does he go from here?
Part of him is actually... Part of him's angry for him taking the painting, but he knows, despite what he just said, that nothing will happen to it. He may have destroyed all of his other work to get to him, but he knows that one won't get destroyed. So he's grateful that, despite him dogging him at every step, he won't ruin that part of their life. But now he has to go and just utterly annihilate this man's existence, or it's never going to stop.
As you step away from the studio, your phone pings.
Damn, I just got this one. Okay. Y'all are quick. He will check it.
It's not from a particular person, as far as you can tell. It looks like it was like a mass message. Heart of St. Pete Charity Blood Drive. The date, December 30th, from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Join us for a night of giving back, donate blood, saves lives, and enjoy live music, food trucks, local artisans, a bunch of other little stuff about the event. Let's make a difference together. See you there! Exclamation point. But underneath that, you see where it kind of has displayed a few events, like a reserve auction. One of the featuring pieces being your painting.
And there it is. Oh, God. Louis, could you... I need to teach you about subtlety, man. Yes, there's one more event on my dance card that I have to attend.
As you, with your intent and motion, move on, we will move to Drake. Where do we find Drake this evening?
Drake is heading down a known path, but has been cutting through the city actually smartly for once. He's mainly shifted the sign to cover up the damage to his body, and is walking towards the one place he knew wasn't public knowledge for Riker.
This building is very similar to the one that you were hiding out with Riker. It looks like he had a couple of these properties. This one, though, this was a last resort location. He had like 3 or 4 that he'd burned before. This is where you guys would hold up. But you find it. Door's unlocked.
Drake will walk in slowly, taking a large step. Once over the entryway.
Give me a wits and awareness.
No, he'd still have his willpower damage. He'd be going there almost as quickly as he can, and probably hasn't. How late in the night was it when we all split up?
Probably about 2 a.m.
Still have. We'll say that's the same night. Just one.
You step over the threshold, close the door, take a look around. You're standing in like a immediate little walkway. Over to your right, you can see that there is what looks to be a living room. Some stairs that go upstairs, and then past the stairs, what looks to be a kitchen.
Drake will pull back the hoodie he is wearing, Running his hands through his hair. Too damn tired for this shit. What'd you do, Wrecker? What would you do? Well, you always did like. Let's try the kitchen first. And he'll walk towards the kitchen.
You make your way to the kitchen. What is your health at right now?
I am still full up on superficial, 3 aggravated, so I have 4 that's only left for aggravated.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dex and athletics.
Okay. I'm a little bit better at. I'm going to blood search. Not get hungrier. Because he knows that Riker's always got something up his sleeve. 4 successes.
Okay. You trip a wire. Immediately, you hear a bang come from looks like a pantry door at the entrance of the kitchen. As a shotgun blast rips through the doorway. You take 1 superficial damage, down half to 1, as it rips kind of across your chest, but only really grazing you. If you had a step further, that would have been it.
Like, Greg's actually feeling it because that's actually ag damage for him right now. But he takes a moment and makes him think for a second. He's not even pissed about getting hurt. He's just like, Racker, there's a part of me that if I'm gonna go to one of your traps, is probably the most deserving. All right, let's see what we got around here. And he starts looking.
The pantry and kitchen is pretty much, there's no food or anything along that line. As you're looking about, all of the cupboards and stuff seem to be filled with munitions.
Can't say I'm surprised. He's gonna leave that there for now. If there's nothing else in the kitchen, he's gonna go in the other direction carefully.
There was just the one trap. So as you are navigating through the space, you go into the living room. Much like every other safe house he has, it's just a couple of couches or chairs. Mostly keeps it dark. Only difference is this one has a TV. You begin to make way upstairs. There's a couple of rooms. Most seem pretty empty. But eventually you find his bedroom. You step inside. In the room, there is an overhead light, a bed, and a closet.
Is the bulb of the overhead light in easy reach? I mean, like the actual bulb.
Sure.
He's just going to unscrew it, just in case, and take a look.
It's just a light fixture.
Shrugs to himself, looking at the bed and the closet. Does the closet have what type of way of opening the closet is it? Doorknob, slide?
It's like it's like a two-door. I'm trying to.
Oh yeah,
It folds
fridge
outward.
doors. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Then yeah, he's going to be by the wall, reach over and yank to pull one of the doors open, but keeping himself out of the possible firing line of the doors.
You open it up. It opens up into just a white closet. There looks like there's carpeted flooring. As you peek in, you see that there are a couple of boxes that are set up, and you see a large duffel bag.
He's gonna check the duffel bag first, probably a go bag.
You see a couple of empty blood bags. You see munitions, a couple of firearms, and a good 5 or 6 stakes.
Definitely a man after my own heart as usual. And what these boxes got?
You open the boxes, and you don't see any like personal effects from like before. Everything seems to be related to the time at St. Pete, but all of it is weirdly neatly organized in these boxes, almost like they're little separated filing cabinets. As you're kind of flipping through them, you see documentation about the business. You see, you find a folder that has like possible whereabouts about a couple of the inquiries, like Victor, things on that line. And then you find in the second box, it's a smaller box, and it just looks like it's got a handful of like those cheap notebooks, like spiral notebooks.
And lift one up, start going through it.
He did it again. We finally found a spot. Quiet. Not much of a presence. But like everywhere else, he sniffs them out. You kill one, it's not long before the rest come looking around. I guess we'll just have to burn this one and move on to the next place. You find a couple little entries about like before that, settling into the new place, a couple moments of like considering unpacking the bag. In every town, every place, you guys have mostly kind of staying together. Each little notebook ends before it gets halfway through. Usually the same way. He found another one. Burn and run. And then you find the one for St. Pete. Got a respectable little job running a fight club nearby. Things are running pretty well. Seems to be taking that last conversation to heart. Maybe we can at least stay here for a while. Couple little things about KFC and some other stuff, and then he fucking found another one. And not only that, it's Victor goddamn Adams. He's like a dog. He can't help it. He just chases. No regard. I'll help him with this one, but once we burn this place, I might have to go my own way. Couple more entries, some stuff he found about Victor. And then you flip down to the last entry. He got hit by the shear again. He found Victor. Just got to make it out of here in one piece and make sure he doesn't die in the process. I hear Italy's nice. Maybe when this is done, he'll find what he needed. But we are going to have a long talk tonight. Period. And that is the last entry.
Moment. And just sit down. Resting his head against the back of the closet. God. Lila, damn it. I told you to. Oh, you. Told you to leave me. And yet. He's gonna close the notebook. Put it into the hoodie. Step out. He's gonna walk over to the bed. Bodily move it. Check around it. You're muted.
Ow. You find something taped to the bottom of the bed.
He's gonna take it.
You see, it's a photograph. Looks like him, a little younger than you know him. Looks like he's got a man at his side, the two of them smiling. There's a little kid. You recognize the address, the home that they're in. That was the first haven he had when you met him. He doesn't talk about it often, but you do remember him mentioning he had a family. And it looks like he's taken this to every haven you guys have burned and ran from.
Carefully hold it back up. Take it with him. What type of stove was in the kitchen?
That's a gas stove.
He's gonna turn on all the gas. While it's doing that, he's going to do one last check around the house.
It's empty.
He's going to, before it can fully fill, he's going to take a Zippo he brought, having filled it completely. Set it on a flat surface by the bed. Light it, and before the gas is filled enough, leave. Making sure he's made a good amount of distance.
Once you've cleared the range, you wait for a moment. The flame catches. And you hear the explosion.
Gonna go back on his way. He has work to do.
As you drive away from the Haven, what is on Drake's mind?
Drake is running through everything, seeing like dominoes, all the actions, all the ways Riker stood by him, all for his beliefs, his ideas, stupid ideas. And yet he's as dogmatic as ever. More so now. This is what it means to sacrifice. This is what it means to give for Lilith. This is how pain teaches you. He was just a dumb mutt. And he was accomplishing nothing being like that. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know if he can. But at the very least, if he's going to be the attack dog, maybe it's time to start finding people who can plan out to go. Because now it's about using this gift of sacrifice to further Lilith's plan. He's going to take his pound of flesh from Victor.
As you drive away, we make our way to the neutral zone. As Maggie is making their way to Beaumont. As you pull up to the mortuary, it is more empty than you typically see it. And you already see the servant standing at the door. As you pull up, they immediately come down and take your door. Good evening.
Evening. I have an appointment, I believe.
Yes. If you'll please follow me.
Of course.
After you get out of the car, he takes you into the building, closes it behind you, and he takes you back into a room where, well, he takes you back to the offices. He puts you in front of William's door. Sorry, I lost the names for a second. He opens it up and gestures for you to go in.
Maggie will nod. She'll look around and she will proceed to go into the Williams office.
As you step inside, you see William sitting at his desk. His brother to the side, and your sire sitting across from them. Your sire turns to you, smiles, and stands up and makes his way to you. My dear, it's been too long. How are you?
I am quite well. Maggie will smile up at him. Take a couple of steps closer. Kind of peer up at him, like looking him over. How was your trip?
My trip was fine, but we have pressing news to discuss.
Of course.
He goes with you to the seats in front of the desk. William, kind of watching the two of you as you approach. Miss Haywood, I assume that you have seen the guests in the city.
The massive lurking presence that is pressing down upon overhead? Yes.
I know that we, as well as I understand, the Camarilla has asked for you to look into the Shade incursion.
Yes. Yes, it has. There was something that I was able to do to make it flee momentarily. But I get the feeling if it was done on a larger scale, I'd need to discuss it more with Emissary Hughes in order to carry it out properly. It is a ritual of her design. She'll kind of pull out a map and gesture to the triangle places. These seem to be the primary points. Whether these are anchor points or there's something in the center that needs to be cut.
Perhaps he considers for a moment. This ritual, I understand Miss Hughes is reluctant to share the specifics, but could you perhaps give us the nature of the ceremony?
It is meant to make it corporeal in order to take it down. But from what my experience has been with it is that it cuts the tie to its fetter and banishes it.
Well, the primary concern I have with that is it seems to have many fetters.
It has, but it seems to latch on to things beyond the sense of a fetter. The first time I performed this, I stabbed a kindred as part of this. Cut it off from kindred. We are not typically fetters.
No. And I do understand that this was a ritual that was developed during a major incursion a couple years ago.
As far
But
as I understand, yes.
that was still a manipulation of how fetters work. And if this entity if it's bound to so many, severing one might not be enough, or even 20. We may need to consider other alternatives.
Perhaps if there is a way to focus it on these locations. Make something or someone that is inherently tied. And then sever it. It only took one thread being severed for it to flee.
Right. But it fled and got bigger. Whatever we do, it's already too big. We need to, whatever we do needs to be more permanent. How many different types of spirits have you encountered?
There was a wraith that had some passions to it. Several shades. That is as far as I'm aware. What I've seen.
His brother kind of speaks up. There are a wide variety of forms beyond that of the living. Often manifestations of or peculiar evolutions of what leaves the human body upon becoming deceased. Some are things that are a bit more inherent. What we are encountering is well, typically this would be a problem for a dog. But we don't have any dogs nearby. Unfortunately, there is a ritual ceremony of sorts that we've used in the past, and it is very similar to the nature of what you are describing, essentially pulling the connection to a being, one person. However, the result is to destroy the person, destroy the entity. But we would have to do this at a place where the power is most focused.
I see. So we would need one person to connect all of this energy to sacrifice for a more permanent solution.
That would be ideal. That
think I
we would
have an
have to
idea.
go around murdering or stabbing all of the random civilians of St. Petersburg, and that's not going to go well.
No, it wouldn't. They would eventually notice. Huh.
William speaks up. Has there been a not to sound dramatic, but perhaps a pattern of misfortune for an extended period of time?
Yes. I'm not sure how extended per se, but since my arrival into the city, it seems to be wrought.
There are spirits that, as in your report, feed off of despair, feed off of the lamented living. They often pass on, but sometimes through usually direct manipulation or great catastrophe, they find themselves lingering in a place for a time. First, just feeding off of the chaos that's there, but eventually they pluck a few strings of their own to sow a little more.
I see.
If this continues to stay in St. Pete, the general life that exists here will eventually fall into apathy. There will be no meaningful life, and the quality of the food will be tragic.
What you're saying is that they would feed off of their passions to the point of draining them, and they would be so thin it would be hard to tell the difference.
It would make the kindred stick out like a sore thumb.
It would. I have an idea.
Enlighten me.
There is someone that we may be able to use for this, but I'll need to discuss it with the sheriff and Primogen Gabriel of the Bruja, and likely Primogen Charlie, because of the nature of what may happen. I don't want to make promises yet.
Well, go ahead and see to that. But we have a additional concern. Your sire speaks up. See, it has come across my attention that there is a festival an event going on nearby soon around the 30th. I believe that you might be able to perform the ritual there. There will be a large gathering of people in that location.
Alright, what is. Okay. Sounds very public.
There's a blood drive. I understand that there might be from an event that happened nearby. I don't suppose you were there. There was a hunter event at a gala.
I heard about it.
We've been hearing about people becoming sick, kindred getting sick after feeding from people here in St. Pete. And after hearing about what we heard at the gala, we suspect that these hunters have somehow spiked the punch. So, a blood drive would be a very good opportunity for them to do so. Which means things could get a little hectic there. People get sick, people get killed. Would be a good place for it to linger. In addition, a lot of the people that are there to donate blood are people who are probably trying to help people that they care about or trying to pass things forward. Which would be a good place to find some food.
Alright. I understand. So, where's the location of this blood drive festival?
As he's kind of pulling up the information, it is in Clear Vista.
Okie doke. She'll nod. That's convenient.
Like I said, it starts plucking strings of its own.
So it seems. Yes, that would be perfect.
The ceremony that we have in mind is going to take all four of us.
Understood. May I have the specifics of this ceremony?
We'll forward them to you. But it is going to take a substantial amount of blood. Mostly of the sacrifice. But we are going to use that to tether the creature to them. And then it ends with a beheading.
Understood. I will make sure to see about getting the sacrifice cleared for this. Is there anything else?
We wouldn't have had the information that we had if you hadn't have been as forthcoming as you have been. We appreciate the work that you've put into getting to the bottom of this.
Thank you. I find it's easier to work with as much as we can on the table. The location for that meeting you spoke of, It's ready whenever you need it.
Oh, well, I'm afraid that is going to have to be postponed the moment they discover the spirit.
I can imagine.
I think... Yes. You see to obtain a sacrifice. We will take care of the other preparations. We'll find a space that we can perform the ceremony. Somewhere we won't be so easily spotted.
Understood. I will make sure to get this prepared and done.
Is there anything you need to know?
What will be the effects? There tend to be side effects to such things as large as this.
The effects will be felt throughout the area. There will likely be a sense of lethargy that takes hold of the kind for about a week or so. People will get sick, some people will become violent. It'll get a little hectic for a while, but it'll eventually calm down.
It'll be Florida.
It'll be Florida. After the ritual's done, we go to ground. Give it a few weeks. See how things are looking. Turn to the surface. But usually, at least the time that it was done before, it didn't seem to have too much effect on the kindred. The side of the consequence of that action was well, say there were no more kindred in the area after a couple weeks.
All right.
We'll make sure to inform your city of the
Magnitude?
and the consequences of breaking curfew.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this will be risky, but I think it may work. I do have a slightly personal question, if I may.
Very well.
Maggie will kind of glance over at Pietro and then back at William. Has there been any Sabbat activity in this area recently?
You mean in the neutral zone or
St.
the city
Pete
as a
in
whole?
general.
I know that there have been a few incidents up north. where Sabat had been involved. But most of that place has fallen into chaos. So it's entirely possible.
Alright. They may be exacerbating the problem. Thank you.
Of course.
Is there anything else you need me for tonight?
No. I think we're good. I just wanted us to be on the same page and have this conversation once.
Thank you. I believe we are.
Well then, me and my brother have some things to discuss. Leave you and Mr. Pietro can find your way.
Thank you. Maggie will look over to her sire and kind of offer her hand. Shall we?
He takes her hand, and he follows you out. You hear the two of them start to talk as the door closes behind you.
I'm gonna activate heightened senses.
Give me what's awareness.
That's 2.
It's hard to tell specifically what all is being said. But you can tell that they are discussing the area. You can hear them kind of going over some details about the ceremony, like get how to set up the ceremony. You start hearing them make reference to possible individuals of, like, in case you can't obtain a sacrifice, maybe they can make something else work. Something on that line. But outside of that, they are talking directly about what you guys just discussed.
Okay. Maggie will walk out. Walk out with Pietro and she look up at him. Do you need a ride back?
I would like to continue examining the creature.
Huh. Would you like to drive toward that area together?
Sure, that would be lovely.
Maggie will walk him over to her car and open the passenger side for him and walk over to the driver's for herself.
He watches as you move about and you begin driving. I have heard some curious news since my arrival. I have heard you have been in trouble of sorts.
The front of my first mortuary, someone set it on fire, but it was easy enough to put out. Very superficial damage.
And what of this coterie of yours?
They are a very passionate group of people. They served the needs of the former Keeper of Elysium, and his needs turned out to be quite messy. Tremere.
Ah. Shamira Messi.
That tends to happen when you toy with that much blood.
Are we much better, though?
I'd like to think so.
I know that you took the job with the Coterie in order to help them investigate some curious deaths. What is it that still has you attached?
They, being a part of this coterie, has enabled me to look into things I wouldn't normally have access to. I enjoy them as people. They are quite messy. But they give me the leverage to be able to explore things without coming across as many hindrances as we normally would. What have you heard about my coterie?
Well, I have heard they're a bit of a destructive bunch. I have heard that they have had connection to the death of Mr. Kane.
That
I
was
understand
disproven.
that. I understand, but from what I can tell, you do happen to be in the center of a lot of chaos regarding where these other kindred of yours are concerned.
They tend to require direction.
Hmm.
I can be a decent pointer.
Of that, I have no doubt. After you've been driving for a moment, his eyes kind of darken. I've never seen a creature a spirit this size.
What do you think it is?
The name fails to beckon to memory, but it does remind me of a spirit that somebody I spoke with before told me of long before I met you. A wolfman.
Wolfman.
Mhm.
Like a werewolf? Or
See,
so this would concern something beyond the Shadowlands?
indeed.
Huh. How strange. This city is certainly interesting. Probably the nicest way I could put it.
He told me that the spirits are tied to everything. Some, in one way or another, become stronger than the others. From what I understand, much has happened in this city.
Yes, this is a city built on the bones of tragedy. And just strange oddities.
Bound to so many people. Mr. Beaumont is right. If we do not take care of this soon, St. Pete will not be a safe place to stay.
And we will have to take care of it soon then, now won't we?
Drop me off here.
Alright. You know your way back, don't you? Or would you like me to stay?
Oh, I'm going to stroll about, see what I can see. Shouldn't take me long. I'll be home soon.
Good. I hope so.
Of course.
Maggie will park, give his hand a squeeze and give him a smile. It really is good to see you again.
It is great to see you. Drive safe. I will see you soon.
Yes.
You part ways. What is on Maggie's mind as she makes her way?
She is wrapping her head around the fact that this is almost completely out of her wheelhouse. Because this is beyond a normal specter. This is something that is connected to a place that she actually doesn't know that much about. This is something much bigger and represents something more than she could ever possibly comprehend. And she wants to know more about it. She's thinking about how she's going to have to convince the Primogen and possibly the prince and the sheriff to allow her to sacrifice Victor in this whole debacle as a way to make use of the crimes that he's committed, from what she can tell. She's elated that her sire is back in town, but wary because that affection that she felt for him not even 8 months ago has dimmed considerably. And she's not really sure what to make of it. So she's a little lost in her own thoughts as she drives back to her primary haven.
You make your way back to your haven. And we transition to the last scene. It's late. Dark out. We find ourselves kind of hovering over an apartment complex somewhere downtown. As we kind of pan into a window, we see a man sitting on his couch watching the TV. The news is on. He looks worn. Probably hasn't showered in a few days. 5 o'clock shadow is pretty strong. As he's watching the news, he kind of goes from sitting back, kind of leaning, this disgust face, staring at the TV, and then a shade sits behind him. His eyes just deaden. And then the shade seems to seep into his shadow. And then that apathetic gaze furrows. He leans forward, watching the TV for a moment. And then he turns his head toward his kitchen. Turns back toward the TV, stands up, walks into the kitchen, takes a large knife, turns, goes toward his front door, opens, steps outside, and then walks out of view. You hear a large smashing sound as he kicks in the neighbor's door. You hear screaming, violent movement, and then silence. After a moment, we pan back out. Further and further from the apartment complex is all the lights in St. Petersburg. Some of these buildings, several lights go out. And with that, we bring this session to a close. When we come back, we move into the final stage of this story. An entity that has been haunting this table since Benjamin. Will the Coterie win? Well, we'll find out in the next chapter. Thank you all for tagging along, and we'll see you there.